Good day, my fellow interwebbers. It is July 5th, 2016. Today we are pod vlogging three different podcasts today. We're doing the Gnostic Media podcast with Jan Irving, Tangentially Speaking with Dr. Christopher Ryan, and Daniel Vitalis' Rewild Yourself. Now, let me get into the Rewild Yourself one first. He was speaking with some salesman from Clear Light Saunas. Now, that's a subject matter that's very near and dear to my heart because my day job is I build things, and I build things with fire. Meaning I build ovens, I build saunas, temazcals, and all this. And what's great about this particular podcast is they get into the benefits of infrared saunas. Now, if you've never experienced infrared sauna, the best thing about it is that infrared, it does something to the mitochondria in our cells where our body starts to produce more energy. More energy we have, the less illness we have. And it's better to look at it that way than to look at it from actually detoxing. There is a detoxing element, but when our mitochondria are kicking in and we're able to have more energy, our system, all of our systems end up doing much, much better. So check that particular podcast out. It gets a little bit long in the tooth. They're doing the whole sales pitch thing, but it's definitely worth listening to. I really enjoyed Dr. Christopher Ryan's podcast this week. He was interviewing a career smuggler, which is kind of cool. This gentleman was, he took a shrimp boat. He was a shrimp boat captain. He was taking that from the Gulf of I guess, the Gulf. We'll just call it the Gulf. He was taking his boat from like the Louisiana area all the way down to Colombia to start in the 70s and, bringing marijuana back to the United States. And he gets into all the different ways in which they graduated and were, getting more and more and bigger in their operation. And it's one of the things I like to touch on that is that the majority of the war on drugs is just a way to put people in jail because jail is a massive business. And it's a very profitable business. Do not fool yourself. There is no real war on drugs because guess who's the biggest drug runners of them all? That's right. You guessed it. It starts with a C and ends with an A. But it's really kind of cool. You listen to the gentleman, he's a pretty level-headed cat. He sounds like he's my dad's age, so he's about 70, and he gets into all the little intricacies of what they did. And it was just cool. Christopher Ryan, he always has very neat guests, the people that you wouldn't necessarily think would be interviewed. He does it, and it comes off really well. The last one we're going to look at is the Gnostic Media podcast. And there's this whole series with Dr. Hans Utter that Jan Irving has done a bunch of interviews with, a bunch of podcasts. I think it's 15 all in all. They get into the subversive history of FM and AM radio. They get into all these different ways in which sound has been used to condition us. And it's really remarkable to me because this particular podcast that they did, they were going into the whole deadhead phenomenon. Just listen to that. Deadhead. Now, I feel very lucky because I never got into that, the Grateful Dead. I do recognize they have some good music here and there, but like Fish and the Grateful Dead and all this stuff, because I didn't grow up doing drugs, I never really liked it. And this is the best thing I can say about this. I have been to a couple music festivals, and it's very obvious that the music festival is only tolerable when you're completely under the influence of something. So that begs the question, is it really all that great? And so, there's some visually stimulating things, there's some auditorily stimulating things, and they're conscious because they say they're conscious, but give me a break. It's just a big excuse to get high. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but come on, like, just call it for what it is. It's not a consciousness thing. It's an unconsciousness thing. It's like checking out. In fact, I don't even know the different things that how it's actually said, but tune in, turn off, check out, whatever that Timothy Leary saying was. So just, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole of like listening to how we've been programmed and how the drug movement has been pushed, at least these last two podcasts are really good, because it kind of gives a not so mainstreamy view of like the one of the three main currencies on the planet, which is drugs. One of my earliest mentors, he told me there's three currencies on the planet. There's drugs, there's oil, and there's precious metals. And the older I get, the more it bears to be true. So thank you for checking out Podvlog. Please subscribe when you get a chance, and check out the website. It's podvlog.com. See you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.